This drive starts at the junction of US 95 in southern Nevada, about 60 miles north of Beatty, Nevada, and 20 miles south of Goldfield, Nevada. It's really important to gas up either in Beatty or Tonopah, as those are the closest places to get gas before the junction of Nevada 266 and US 95. Once you take this turn onto Nevada 266 and junction to California 168, heading towards the eastern Sierra Nevada, the next place you can get gas will be Big Pine or Bishop, California. This drive, beginning on Nevada 266 and going to California 168, is about 82 miles. It'll take you through some small rural farming communities. Very, very small, to be clear. At least one ghost town, a number of Nevada and California points of historic interest, and will afford you some spectacular views of the White Mountains and, of course, the magnificent Sierra Nevada. One of the beautiful aspects of this drive is that it's not as trafficked as US 95, not by a long shot. It's pretty desolate and empty. The highest speed limit is 65 miles per hour as opposed to US 95's, which is 70. So I would call it somewhat of a relaxing drive. This drive goes up and down in elevation a couple of times, and you will go over two summits. Right now we're coming up on the first of the two summits. This one is Lyda Summit, and it is 7,400 feet in elevation. The mountain range that we're coming up on right now is the White Mountains. You will be able to see both the White Mountains and the Sierra Nevada during this drive, but right now, since we're headed a little bit north during this portion of the drive, you start to see the White Mountains, which are on the eastern side of the Owens Valley, whereas the Sierra Nevada is on the western side. These mountains have two significant peaks. I believe that we are traveling towards those two peaks. One of the peaks is Boundary Peak, which is in Nevada, and the other one is Montgomery Peak, which is in California. So Boundary Peak in Nevada obviously is named that because it's right on the boundary state line of Nevada and California. It's one of the highest peaks in the state of Nevada. I'm not really sure exactly which one it is, but you know, that's what Google's for, so look it up. Right now we are driving through another small rural, it's very hard to say that word, rural farming community, and this is where we are junctioning from Nevada 266 to California 168. And I did not mention it earlier before, but just before you hit this rural community coming down into this valley, you cross the border of Nevada and California, entering into California. So after the junction of Nevada 266 and California 168, you start to climb up again in elevation, and now you start to see views of the Sierra Nevada in the distance. And you will go down in elevation again. You go into this desert landscape valley. There's actually a small community college down there, I believe, called Deep Springs. And you'll drive through that valley before you start climbing in elevation again. Telling you about that you will drive through before you start to climb an elevation one more time. And this is the beginning of that climb, where the top of it you hit Westgard Pass, and then the road will become very interesting after Westgard Pass, and you'll just have to wait and see. During this climb to the Westgard Pass summit, the terrain really starts to change, and the rocks are, I don't know the word for it, but they're incredibly intriguing. Very interesting geology happening right here, which makes sense because it's a very geologically active location. The vegetation is also starting to change dramatically as we head up to Westgard Pass. A lot of the trees in this area are ancient Bristlecone Pines. I did see on another YouTube video about this area that supposedly there is a estimated 7,000 year old bristlecone pine, but its location is a closely guarded secret. No, I don't know where it is. And now we are approaching Westgard Pass. There it is, which its elevation is roughly 7,300 feet. Also, I was pretty happy about having this giant trailer in front of us because there's a section of the road coming up here where, let's just say, it's nice to have a shield in front of you. And then my shield decided to pull to the side of the road. I was a little bit bummed when he pulled over to the side. I know. Why am I bummed about this? There's a section of the road after you hit Westgard Pass and you start going down in elevation where this 2-lane highway, which is already narrow, narrows even further. So it's a couple of miles after you hit the summit of Westgard Pass that there's a section of the road, and you will be warned about a mile before, where the road becomes 1 lane. Yes, 1 lane. And it's not too bad. It sounds horrific, but it's not too bad. Just you have to take it very slow going through here, even though I believe the posted speed limit is 55, but they tell you to slow down. So going through here, maybe 10 miles per hour. So you can see that the yellow line is going to disappear, and as you're going down this way, you want to yield to oncoming traffic, the people that are coming up through here. So I have also seen other YouTube videos where going through this narrow section, cars have been able to pass without a problem. There is a good amount of clearance, but it's pretty narrow. And it's less than, I would say, a quarter of a mile. I don't know if I would drive it at night. It's pretty hairy. But another tactic that people use when they're driving through that small section is they'll honk their horn to let others know coming from the opposite direction that the car is coming through. Again, it's a small section of the road and it only does it right there. But your payoff is the road opens up and you see this incredible, stunning view of the Sierra Nevada. So there's your reward. As you start to come out of the hills down into the Owens Valley with that spectacular view of the Sierra, there's a couple of places where you can pull off the road and enjoy a nice little vista parking spot. This is where we stopped to walk the dog. Yeah, good place to walk the dog. And then, as you continue down into the Owens Valley, there's another interesting spot right here at the base of California 168. There's a place called Zurich Station that used to be an old railroad station. And I will post, coming up here shortly, some information about it. There's also a plaque on the side of the road, on the side of 168, explaining Zurich Station significance. Zurich Station, formerly Alford, was established in 1884 as a freight and passenger station on the Carson and Colorado Railway, known locally as the Slim Princess. Zurich was the main railroad station for Big Pine and points east. Its name was changed to Zurich in 1923 because the eastern slope of the Sierra reminded local resident Emilie Nicolas of her native Switzerland. The station fell into disuse during the 1940s and was abandoned when the railway ceased operation in 1960. And now we are coming to the close of California 168 as we head towards the junction of the Eastern Sierra Highway 395. Thank you so much if you watched the entirety of this video. I really appreciate it. And as they say, smash that like and please subscribe for more interesting drives or skiing or hiking or, whatever is my interest of the moment. Thanks. Bye.